Well, this is just a general chit-chat, alright? There's an online tutorial 5 that's sitting there waiting for you, which really just unpacks the process that I want you to follow, right? Follow the process. And that's really for section 1 of the Interim Learning Report. And then there's another video there which you've already got, which is the steps model, which is for section 2 of the Interim Learning Report. What I really wanted to do in this video for you was just encourage you to take a moment to do something that's very meaningful to me. And I'll tell you why it's meaningful to me in a minute. But one of the things that we tend not to do is we tend not to take enough time to just smell the roses. Let me take a moment. And it can change your entire mindset for the rest of the day. When my father passed away, there was a bowl of rose petals that was sitting on his coffin. And before the coffin was taken away, I just leant down and smelt the roses. And roses have always been something that have had a sort of a personal connection to me. I'm not sure they really had a personal connection to my father, but they were the last thing that really existed between us. And so now if I'm walking down a street and someone's rose bushes are hanging over the fence or just inside the fence, if I stop and take a moment to smell those roses, the entire day just changes. Because now I've entered this state of mindfulness. I think I might have mentioned to you on the weekend, I'm reading this book. It's a fantastic book called Living an Examined Life. I think it's just fantastic. I really do. And it brings back many of those moments of the value of being able to smell those roses. So you've just had this experience. The vast majority of you came along on the weekend or you caught up on the Monday. And there's a lot of things happening, right? And I'm asking you to go off and follow a process. And you might be thinking, where was the starting point? What was the process connected to at the beginning? Well, I'm hoping that you're in a group where you've got some commonality in terms of an area of interest. Something that you guys are a bit passionate about. Something you at least have an interest in. That's the roses that you want to be smelling there, right? This thing that you actually have some curiosity for, that you have some interest in. You've also got the diversity of your group, right? Even though you might be interested in something, you're all different, right? And so taking a moment to just breathe in those differences, to try and understand the nature of your attraction to this area, would be a great way to get you ready and moving forward in this space. Likewise, I've asked you to reflect on a question which I think I have over here in front of me. Maybe I don't. But it's essentially thinking about this notion of an entrepreneurial self. How do you see it in your everyday life, right? And again, these roses are present when you ask yourself, what is my entrepreneurial self? Is it something related to me starting a business? Is it something related to me doing something clever in the kitchen? Is it something related to me being able to organise and lead my fellows on a sporting field or in other aspects of my life? It's entirely up to you to define what is your entrepreneurial self. But do tell me what you believe that to be. You don't need to overly justify it. Just tell me what you see as being your entrepreneurial self. And that's a great place for you to start your reflections. I'm not particularly happy with the reflections I put on Blackboard today. But nevertheless, I've gone through the process. I most probably haven't gone as deep in the process as I like. It's a bit to do with the nature of that question and me wanting to keep the question in play and not being able to get far enough away from the question. I've designed the questions you'll address in this semester so that you can get that depth. And the big challenge for you is, can you start thinking about what your entrepreneurial self is for a few days? Making a few notes, mental notes, written notes, whatever they may be, so that when you come down to do section 2 and you look at the process that's required, you've got this really nice fertile starting point where you've already thought to yourself, there is something new that I've learned about myself, right? I'm asking what you've learned that's new about you, okay? And from that point, you can start to move forward, okay? And work your way through those 7 questions, all right? Remembering that 6 are related to the primary question, and the last question, question 7, is about yourself as a learner and what you can do to improve as a learner going forward, okay? So, this is just a general chit-chat, all right? Supplementary to the more process-driven online tutorial 5 and the subsequent steps models videos. We will be having some online tutorials. We're using Zoom, so keep an eye out for those. If something's just not seeming right to you, if it's just seeming a bit too process-oriented, just drop me a line. Make a time, come in, have a chat over the phone. It shouldn't be too difficult for us to find time to have a chat. Anyway, for now though, good luck with your group. Don't look to dominate the process. Look to celebrate the differences of opinion. Be mindful of what your opinions are before you go along. Allow them to be challenged. Allow someone else's views to carry the day in terms of maybe organising your presentation. Be able to talk to me in your interim learning report in section 1 about how your ideas and your thinking has been shaped through that process, and you'll do just fine. Cheers.